My name is Shawn Taylor. My friends call me Shawn. The reality of my life before the program was first prison. I was a lifer. I went to prison at 18 years old. I'm 49 years old now. I was recently released. So I did 31 years in prison. Prior to that, I was a drug addict, a teenage drug addict, as hardcore as you could be. I was a criminal. I lived the life of a gang member, drug addict, criminal. That's all I knew. And in prison, I carried forth in that way. I was a troublemaker, a problem young man, deeply involved in prison politics and gangs. When you're in prison and you're thinking about getting out, you're just thinking about the good stuff. You're just thinking about freedom. But freedom is not easy. And it's an incredible transition. After 31 years, the world changed. This creates tremendous amount of stressors. You need a support structure. Mercedes, the group she led, was that for me early on, probably when I needed it most. I first met Mercedes through a transitional house I was living in after I was released from prison. Mercedes facilitated my substance abuse class. And I think the thing that really stood out about her was lived experience. And not only lived experience, but her ability and willingness to share her experiences, to be open. I've been in many, many groups in prison, outside of prison, and experienced many different kinds of facilitation, and where the facilitator kind of acts as a, overseer or a referee and doesn't really, isn't really invested in the emotional part of the group. And that's what made Mercedes different. She was a part of the group, yet she was still the facilitator in control of the group. Before I met Mercedes, before I started actually doing the work of transformation, I was incredibly skeptical about all of it. I mean, Narcotics Anonymous, just everything, self-help period. I just didn't grow up in a family where we were open and honest. Emotionally literate is what they would call it now. And I didn't know how to look within myself and really articulate what I saw. I didn't want to do that. And I think, Mercedes, her willingness to speak her truth and share that with us kind of helped me do it. It kind of made it a little easier. And I think I speak for the rest of the group when I say that. The program was not easy. It absolutely was not easy. But the basis of all self-help groups, addicts supporting addicts. To be supported, you have to offer support. And that often comes in the form of truth, being honest, being able to speak your truth. That's not always easy. When you're talking about addiction, that's incredibly personal. That intersects in your relationship with your mother, not having a father, abuse, various forms of abuse. And these are things you got to be willing and able to talk about, and it's just not an easy thing. But she created an environment where it was easier. But overcoming that challenge is a part of transformation, is a part of, it goes to staying sober, being able, learning how to articulate your truths. Even something as simple as saying, hey, look, you're bothering me. These are things I used to bottle up. So when I was eventually triggered, the person would get an amplified version of my anger, undeservedly in most cases. But my life has changed for the better. I think, learning how to speak and being willing and able to speak and confide and tell my truth and really speak to my triggers and my frustration helped me in my day-to-day life. Being a parolee is not an easy thing. But, today I'm employed. I have a job I love. I work in the industry, actually. I'm a reentry coordinator. I help develop connections between my company and other companies for people coming home from prison to make sure they have the resources they're going to need.